Welcome to the New in Lynchburg podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to helping you get the most out of this great city, Lynchburg, Virginia. You'll get highlights on upcoming events, interviews with interesting people. You'll learn more about local nonprofits, and we'll keep you connected to all the new things going on in Lynchburg. Here are your hosts, Josh and Ray.
Welcome to the New in Lynchburg podcast. I'm Ray Gonzalez, along with my co-host today, Natalie Rogers, and we are New in Lynchburg.
This podcast is sponsored by newinlynchburg.com, your source for all things Lynchburg. If you're looking for upcoming events, local deals, things to do all in the Lynchburg area, make sure you check out newinlynchburg.com.
So guys, today on the show, we have Codie Cyrus, and she is from Cnc Piping and Fabrication. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about them and a little bit about her. Before we bring her on, Codie is the owner. The husband and wife ran company. They do welding repair, and they are a maintenance company that specializes in process piping and mechanical support for industrial and commercial clients. She was awarded a $15,000 grant from AOT for expansion, and the company was recognized as a Small Business of the Year for 2017. So that's really awesome. And CNC Piping and Fabrication was also recognized as a small business on the rise. Codie was recognized as 2017 Millennial on the Move. So they're doing some awesome things, a family-run company that's located in the Lynchburg area, and we're excited to have her on the show with us today.
Yeah, definitely. We're really excited to have you just to be able to talk about all the things that you guys are doing, all the opportunities you guys offer, and also what you guys take on college versus trade. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the family business, C&C Piping and Fabrication. When did you guys start and what do you guys do?
Well, we established in 2014 and we began operations in late 2015, so it's like the last quarter of 2015. We began with just 3 people. It was me, my husband, and one other guy that was with us at the time. It was a blast, and it grew so quickly that it really floored us both. The need in the area was there when we started. We had hoped that we had seen that, and we really had. So I think the funnest part about it all was being able to do it as a family and being able to do it in the Lynchburg, Altavista area.
I think that's really cool that you started as a family business. And I'm sure that there are some days where running a family business can have its negative things, you know, because it's your family, somebody you're home, but you're also doing a business. So were there some struggles in the beginning when it came to decisions or trying to balance that home work life?
Absolutely. To say that there wasn't would be a complete and utter lie. In the beginning, our decision was that he controls the field. He is our designated employee, which means he holds our contractor's license, and I own the company. The funny story about the only reason I'm the only one to own it is because when you can actually LLC online, it's $100, you go to SEC. But I didn't know how to make it a partnership online. And so because that wasn't as easy as the simple LLC making me the sole owner, that's what we did. And so the theory was you handle everything in the field and I'll handle everything in the office. But because he's technically our project manager, that he does a lot of things inside the office too. So we co-mingle in that way. And we had some growing pains, but he's really stepped up and I've backed down a little, which helps. And we're working really well together. And so far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, as a small business owner, I know that balance between family life and home life, especially when you're just starting and you're learning as you go, it can really be difficult sometimes, but it's great to see that you guys are thriving as a small business. Obviously, for being in business for a relatively short amount of time, you've done some cool things. So that's really nice.
What is it that you guys do at CNC Piping and Fabrication?
So we are our elevator pitch, once you got to know that, right? We are a piping and fabrication company that specializes in process tubing and mechanical support for commercial and industrial locations. What that means is that we have a lot of factories in our area. That's great because that means jobs for everybody. Part of that is those factories have to be up and running. And if a pipe breaks, we specialize in the welding portion of it, pipe welding itself. And so that's what we're mainly called for. We do offer several other services, but that's what we try to make sure that we do because there's a lot of processing plants in our area that make product. And so we'll go in and if you break down, if your company breaks down, your machine breaks down, we're here to fix that. And that's what we do in short.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool because you are actually, your business is helping other small businesses or medium-sized businesses stay moving, right, every day. So when something breaks and they're making it, they can't do their work, right? So you guys come and are able to fix that and make them, continue on with business. So that's really a great needed service, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And we try to do that. There are several other businesses in the area that do what we do. And we came in and tried to cover that. There's a little hole in that market. That little hole is you have a lot of people in the area that service, they do electrical, they do mechanical support, but they are looking at these larger jobs. The more your overhead is, then the larger your project really has to be to cover that overhead. And so there's a hole where that quality is missing in those smaller projects and these companies that need something $1,000, $2,000 job done, that these other larger companies really can't cover that. And so we try to make sure that we can do that along with your $100,000 job. We try to keep our overhead as low as we possibly can and watch our costs. That way, if we're able to do work for other manufacturers in the area and we can keep their costs low, then they can give back to the communities for which we're in. And that's really what it's all about.
Oh, that's awesome. And what grounds do you guys cover? Like, is it just Lynchburg?
Well, we work within a 75-mile radius of the Altavista area. So we work from Roanoke to South Boston to, Danville, a little part of North Carolina, up to Charlottesville. So we try to circumference that entire area.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a lot of ground.
Yeah, I really want to emphasize what you said when you said that there was a hole there, because and I think you're absolutely right. And it's kind of similar to what we're doing at New Lynchburg, where there are other advertising companies out there. There are other people doing maybe businesses that we're doing, but we can service almost a lost group of businesses. People that maybe are family businesses themselves, or they've just started up and they don't have $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to spend on fixing the equipment that they need, but they need that equipment to do their job. And businesses like us are able to come in and meet them where they are in the budget that they can actually afford so that they can keep going and do their business. We want the community to be able to grow, and we want them to be able to succeed. And if small business doesn't succeed, then the community isn't good for anyone. It doesn't continue to grow, doesn't continue to prosper and make this place a great place to live. So I think that is an awesome thing that you guys are able to do, is to meet that need that maybe was a forgotten sector of the business that you guys are doing. So that's really awesome.
Thanks. That's what we're here to do. And even the larger manufacturers in the area, I didn't realize this. We're industry related, and so we really focus on, I'm learning so much. And one of the things that I realize is that when an industry decides, if we're looking for more manufacturers, when they come in, they want to know where is the workforce. If I don't have people that can work, why am I going to start a business in your area? And if I don't have people that can service my facility at a reasonable rate, I'm not coming to your area, because then there's so many other options. Anheuser-Busch, they can choose to be wherever they want to be, and we have to make it attractive for them. Part of that is keeping your rates as low as you can and doing quality work.
Definitely standing out amongst the rest at the price that other people could afford.
Absolutely, yes.
So I know we are part of the Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance here in the area, and I know one of their missions is to definitely bring those manufacturers in. So it's really important for people like us who are part of that to be around so that they can say, hey, you can come here because we have this company that can service what you're looking for. We have this company. This is why you should come to Lynchburg. We have the people that are doing the trades that you need. And that's kind of what we wanted to talk about. I'd really like to spend some time talking about trades, college, and the pressure that sometimes people feel to go to college when maybe there's another route for them. So I want to park there a little bit and talk about that. So there is a lot of pressure for high school students to go to college. Some students, they might even think if they don't go to college, then they can't be successful, they can't get a good job, and that's really all there is. And they might not feel like they're cut out for college. So what are some careers that they can do, specifically trades that maybe you come in contact with in your business that don't require a degree? So
there are several other things out there to do besides going to college. One of the things I was actually looking up, I'm searching for a welding inspector for something that we have going on, and on AWS's website it says 8th grade education, you have to have this many years in the field. 10th grade education, this many years in the field. So that says right there that you don't have to have, of course we would like to finish high school to get, the complete. But there are options out there for you if your life has dictated something other than that for you. You're not at a loss for it. Some of those positions are welders, mechanics, carpenters, plumbers, pipe fitters. millwrights, brick masons, heavy equipment operators. All of these are things that you can do, even down to bakers. I mean, we say that trades are something that you do to work for with your hands. I think that we forget that cooks and chefs, and they do that too, and they don't have to go to college to learn that. It's something that you pick up and you realize it's something you're pretty good at, and you can go to a trade school or, just learn what you go. On-the-job training is huge.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking earlier, Ray and I were talking, and we were thinking about how at times there might be pressure for women to go to college because these trades are so male-dominated fields. But just because they seem male-dominant doesn't mean that a woman can't work in those areas or can't be the best plumber or the best carpenter in town. And I was trying to think, okay, what are other trades? And like you said, baking, cooking, also photography. Photography is another trade. There's jewelry making. A lot of people are doing jewelry making now. You think of things like the Hill City Handmade that was last weekend and stuff like that, where you could start your own business and you could go out there without a college degree, and it's not like it matters to go out and be successful.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, so for anybody who's listening, just think about your own college experience. If you went to college, if you've gone to college, it's becoming more and more prevalent that whatever degree you got in college, you're not even doing that kind of job anyway.
Nope.
That's me. I have a Bible degree, and I was a police officer for 10 years, and now I own my own business. So I'm using my degree for life, but I'm not using it for my business. And that's okay, because just like you had mentioned, you started to learn about the business that you're in, right? It takes time. You're in it. You're learning on the job, and you're becoming an expert in that field. And you can do that without sitting in the classroom, because the school of hard knocks, when you're on the street learning every day, sometimes is way more important. I just want to encourage you, if you're a college student and you don't know what you want to do, that's okay. If you're a high school student and you don't know if you want to go to college, but you feel that pressure, what do you like to do? And then you can find a job where you can start doing that and learning on your own. You don't have to feel like you have to go to college right away. We're not saying college is bad at all, but what we're saying is take a look at what you want to do, and you might have to work a little bit of time anyway. Try something out. See if it's something that you could really like, and it might be something that you might find a career that you never knew was there.
One of the things that I want to go back to the women in the fields is that, Mike Rowe was somebody that has been really vocal about the trades, and maybe your passion isn't what you need to do for a living. Maybe a job is what you need to do, and you do really good at that job, and then you can do your passion because you'll have more free time. And so I love the things that he said about it. There was something that he had posted on his website about a company that funds women in these trades. I've had, several welders, several female welders. We had one move here from South Dakota that reached out to us, and she actually came to work for us for a little while. And, she had a young son, so she made, other life choices at the time, which was fine, but it's really awesome to see people that can get into that field and don't feel like your education level or, your life choices or, whatever has dictated to you where you can be. You can be as great as you choose to be. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, or, what your education level is.
Yeah, I agree. And it's really encouraging to hear stories like that where people, they didn't really have the option to go to college, but then they could still be successful because they looked into welding, or they looked into photography, or they looked into carpentry, and they fell in love with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the cool thing when you get to fall in love with it and still have the passions. Like you said, it could be a job, but you could still like it.
Absolutely.
And then still have your passions on the side as well. That's really cool. So, Cody, what would you recommend to someone they're a young person, male or female, and they're like, man, I don't know if I'm cut out for college. They might be still in high school, or they might be in that transition of they finished high school or even older and they didn't go to college. How do they gain experience that they don't have yet?
Get a job. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, even parents, you'd be shocked to see how many parents are like, well, I really don't want my child to focus on a career right now. I want them to get through school. If they're not liking school, let them to do something that they like to do. When I was in high school, I got my GED. I took half a day and then I went to work. I got out at 12 and I went to work. I got a paycheck. The crazy part is my husband and I were discussing this the other day. I think he's only had 2 jobs in his entire lifetime. I'm definitely only one career. I've had 22.
Wow.
I was like, ugh, that's a lot. But then it's not, what do I want to be when I grow up? I don't know. But it helped me decide in what direction do I want to go? What do I like? Do I like people? Do I like working alone? And so that's the main thing. And especially when you're younger, that's so much more forgiven. When you're in high school, get something, work part-time, volunteer somewhere. It's not going to hurt you to figure out what you like and what you dislike. That's what school is about anyway. These classes that we take that are called our resource classes, they tell you, hey, I like this, or I'm good at this, or I'm not very good at that. I need to look at something else. And it really put you in the direction slowly where you want to go, and it helps you weed out the things that you don't like so you can begin your career. I think college is meant to do that in a way, but if you don't feel like that's the way you want to go, or financially you can't go, don't feel like that your option is non-existent.
Yeah, I think about me when I was right out of high school and I started working at a bookstore, and a lot of people, they get scared to work to start at the bottom. Like they get scared to go to Target or go to Walmart or go to McDonald's. I'm going to get stuck here forever. No, it's a season of life, but it's really interesting how you could start at the bottom and make your way to the top, or, sometimes you're just handed a great job and you get to stay there. So there's so many different situations that happen in life, and you got to, like you said, you had 22 jobs and you kept on looking for the one that fit.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to step out and to do those things, because even if it's not your job you're going to stay with for the rest of your life, that's okay, because you're going to learn lessons at that job. You're going to meet that person that you learned something. Oh man, I'm going to take that with me. You're going to take different people that you come in contact with, and you're going to take the good things and you're going to leave the bad behind. But you're going to take those good things, but you're not going to meet those kinds of people if you're not putting yourself out there, right? Somebody said that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with. So if you're putting yourself around people that are positive, you're putting yourself around people that are going to be putting into you, that give you a chance, then you're just going to be able to pass that on to people around you. And you're going to be able to find out, hey, this is what I'm really good at. I'm not so good at this, but I'm going to head this direction, and I'm going to take all the things that I learned, help me to be a good person, have good character, and be able to be successful in whatever success means to you.
I couldn't back you any more than 100% on that. Something near and dear to my heart is I watched this TED Talk one time, and it talked about grit. And they said, who's going to succeed in life? Who's going to succeed in school? Who's going to get by? Is there a way to measure that? This lady did a ton of research, and the only thing that she could come up with that was common amongst all of these people, it wasn't, where you came from. It wasn't how much you made. It wasn't, it was something inside of you that she defined or she named grit. And with this, there's so many options out there. And to feel like at some point, if you start at the bottom, my very first job was waitressing, and I began that probably before it was legal. But it taught me so much, and I also have something that I can always fall back on. If at any time there's a lull in where I'm going to make money at, and I got to make money, I can go anywhere. I can go to any state and waitress and still make good money. And I told my sister that she's a waitress in Altavista. I said, that needs to be your job. It teaches you how to deal with people that aren't exactly nice. It teaches you how to multitask, and it's something that you can carry with you everywhere you go. And she very quickly learns, I like this and I don't like this. You go somewhere and you show that you're willing to try, everybody's just looking for somebody to work hard. I can tell you in my industry, you start as a helper, and if you're trying and you're learning, I want to move you up as quickly as I can, because the more you try, the better that you look for our company, and the better you look as an individual, and the more that you can produce. And the more you can produce as a company, the more money I can make, and then the more money that I can give back to the employees there.
As a business owner, I would much rather have somebody who's a hard worker and is willing to learn and is energetic and wanting to learn than somebody who thinks they know everything already, thinks that they have it all together and is going to try to tell me what to do.
Absolutely.
So, I think I totally agree with that. Be teachable, be moldable, learn from people that have more experience than you, and you can go a long way.
That's one of my favorite quotes. I always forget how it's worded, so it's a good thing that I have this one written down. It's hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. You can be fantastic at what you do, but if you come with a bad attitude and you think you got it, that guy that's sitting right there behind you that don't know half of what you know is going to beat you because he knows that he has to. So he knows he has to try. If you're overconfident, you're going to lose it because somebody is behind you willing to try it 10 times, harder than what you are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen that in my own life. One of my younger brothers, he plays rugby, and he's not the athletic one in the family, but he fell in love with the sport, and oh my gosh, he was there every single Saturday, every single Sunday, waking up early every morning, and now he's like one of the best rugby players in Florida, and I'm just like, how did that happen? You're not even athletic. But, I know that's not a job, but it's the equivalent. Like, you just see hard work beats the talent, and because you're hardworking, eventually you get the talent.
Absolutely. My son is that way. We couldn't really find the sport that he liked. He tried everything because that was an insistence of mother. You're going to try a little bit of everything. Tell me what you like. But he started cross country. He got inspired by his teacher. He began running. And he ran every day last year throughout the summer. He ran and he clocked it. He ran around the house. He would add one turn around the house, and every day, more and more and more, and he is really, really good. And he's just a tiny little guy, but he's developed muscle, and it really, to me, it points out so much that all you have to do was you got to want it. And that's anytime something is slipping, you got to want it, because if you don't want it, it ain't going to happen. That wrench is not going to turn if you don't put out on it. And that's life in general.
Good.
I mean, that's life, right? You learn as you go through life, you learn these things sometimes, and we're not going to get handed anything. Anything that you do that's worth doing is going to take hard work, and we just can't give up. I think a lot of times now it's hard for people because maybe they feel like, well, I got to go to college. Everybody's expecting it or whatever. But sometimes it takes faith to just step out and try. Especially when you're young, you've got a lot of time.
You do.
It's no rush. I mean, I feel like I want to get out as fast as I can and get into the workforce as fast as possible. It's okay to take your time and slow down, because you're going to be doing this thing called work for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Try some things out, meet as many new people as you can, learn what you can learn, but don't be afraid to step out and start a business like both of us have done, right? We stepped out and we left careers, we left jobs to do something that we were passionate about, something that we wanted to have a positive impact on the community. We saw a need and we wanted to fill that need. So let me ask you this question. In what ways does CNC positively impact the community where you guys are at?
I was born and raised in that town. And
that's Altavista, right?
That's Altavista. I was born and raised in Altavista. And just this area in a whole has had a really big impact on me. There's so many opportunities out there. You just can't be scared to look for them. And so by knowing that, we try to make sure that we give back with everything that God gives us. I believe that you have to be good stewards of it. And so everything that you're given, then you need to find your way to give back. So we do this thing called Family Farm Day. And we do it once a year. We actually, the Altavista Journal reached out to us and asked us to help plan that because we're farmers on the side. I say on the side. It's like every day. But we have, livestock and things like that. And so I said, okay, great. It was the turnout that was amazing. And the way that was important to us was because, hey, you need to know where your food comes from. I was really shocked to find out that people don't know where it comes from, but I guess that's because we live in the country. Farming is one of those things you don't have to go to school for. It's, normally it's inherited and somebody's going to teach you how, but we have to have them. Please continue that.
Right.
But there's that, and anytime anything happens within the community, we participate in the parade. We've got November 11th is holiday open house in Altavista, so because we're a service company, we're not retail, we can't really do anything. A friend of mine suggested, why don't you wrap gifts? Since you're a service, be out there and wrap gifts for people. And so we do that. We've done a couple fundraisers for people in the area. There's a firefighter friend of ours that was really struggling with some medical issues, and we did a fundraiser for him. And we love our community, and we love to participate in any way we can with anything that's going on.
That's awesome. Yeah, filling a need where it needs to be filled.
Absolutely. That's what we do. That's what you're supposed to do, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. So, Cody, every single episode we ask 2 questions to every single guest.
Okay.
So, first question, what are some interesting quirks or cultural things you've encountered that makes Lynchburg special?
Lynchburg is our city. I use air quotes there because we, Altavista is a quaint, cute little town, and there's great parks and things like that there. But if you want to kind of go into the big city and figure out something to do, then we come to Lynchburg. We use the bike trails. I love that the downtown area has a beautiful way they've refurbished the businesses and the buildings down there. And when you go in somewhere and eat, you're looking at historical, there's history there, and so it's really beautiful. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about going downtown is driving in downtown and seeing all of the historical buildings and seeing what they can become in the future. It's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like, man, I love the fact that you can go into these buildings that are really, really old, but they have the exposed brick walls. Beautiful. And everything, the original flooring. They keep that, and it really makes it awesome. So Lynchburg is just really just getting better and better every single month, it seems, because there's new things. I'm like, oh yes, they're going to take that building and it looks like they're refurbishing. It's going to be awesome. So I mean, it's really, really encouraging. Besides those kind of things and what you love about Lynchburg and the surrounding area, what are some of your favorite activities to do?
The favorite activities in our area would be the outdoors activities, but that may just be me. I love horseback riding, the trails in the area, the hiking, camping, the bike trails. The one down in Lynchburg, we just recently went on that one, and my son ran it because he was cross country, and I rode a bike because I'm not running. And it was beautiful. It was just beautiful down there.
Really beautiful. Like, especially now, being from another state, seeing the leaves and stuff fall while you're running or whatever it is. It's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
How does our audience get in contact with you or with CNC Piping and Fabrication in general?
You can go visit our website at wecanweldit.com, and it's just simply that. We Can Weld It, and it's all lowercase. Or you could call us at 434-444-4146, or you can come visit us on Facebook or LinkedIn. We're on both of those. I try to keep my social media up and running.
Yeah, it's really important to do. It is a lot of work, but it's important. So thank you so much, Cody, for joining us today. We really had a good time talking to you about all that cool stuff that you guys are doing at CNC Piping and Fabrication. So thank you so much for joining us today on the New in Lynchburg podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We hope that you have gained some valuable information from this episode. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider leaving us a review. We'd love to hear from you. There are a lot of events coming up this weekend in Lynchburg. My pick of the week for this week is the Veterans Day Parade at Liberty University, and that is going to be this week from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the really cool thing about this year is that they have not done a Veterans Day Parade. I don't know if you know this, Natalie, but they have not done a parade in almost 80 years. I think it's 79 years. 1938 was the last time that there was a Veterans Day Parade. Wow. In Lynchburg. So this year it's going to be at Liberty University. This is a total free event. Go out and support the veterans. Every one of us has been impacted by a veteran, either directly or indirectly, because of the freedom that they provide us. We need to thank them, and we need to be supporting them on this day. That's my pick of the week, the Veterans Day Parade at Liberty University.
Really awesome events going on, especially with the Veterans Day. A lot of awesome things going on. So we also have some new content for you guys. We know that a lot of people are going to be traveling now for the holidays, whether it's for Thanksgiving or Christmas or even New Year's. And we wanted to give you guys some tips that can make traveling a little bit easier this season. We know that traveling can be stressful at times, so we wanted to make it easier by offering you guys some holiday traveling tips on our page.
And I'm going to take a look at that too, because we will be traveling up to New York.
I'll be going to Miami, so I'll be using our
We're going opposite directions of 95, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So we've come to one of our favorite parts of the show, Natalie, and that is the dad joke of the week. And Natalie has the dad joke of the week, and I have not read it.
Ironically.
So I am really looking forward to it because I don't even know what it is. So let's go.
When I told Josh it, he laughed a little bit. But so we'll see. All right, so here's the dad joke of the week, everyone. Why did the strawberry cross the road?
I don't know.
Because he heard his mom was in a jam.
That's pretty good.
I know. It was pretty good. So, guys, to see all the upcoming events, things to do, and find great guides and blogs like the traveling tips, check out newinlynchburg.com.
This episode has been sponsored by newinlynchburg.com, your source for all things Lynchburg. If you're looking for upcoming events, local deals, things to do all in the Lynchburg area, make sure you check out our website, newinlynchburg.com.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to the New in Lynchburg podcast.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the New in Lynchburg podcast. Visit newinlynchburg.com for more episodes. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on in Lynchburg, then sign up for our free weekly newsletter at newinlynchburg.com/subscribe or follow us on Instagram at New in Lynchburg. You can also check us out at Facebook, facebook.com/New in Lynchburg. We will see you next week for another episode of the New in Lynchburg podcast.